We're here at St George's Hill Tennis Club on a beautiful Friday afternoon. The sun is shining and we're going to have a chat to Andrew Grant, who is fondly referred to as the King of St George's Hill. Andrew has been an estate agent working on St George's Hill for 30 odd years, and we're going to dig and delve into some of his secrets and what makes him just that special estate agent. Andrew, good afternoon.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction, Andrew. Well, I guess I started my estate agent's career actually in Cobham in the late 80s. I stumbled out of school with some OK A levels and wasn't quite sure what to do, and took a job at Gascoigne Peas in Cobham, and I just thought it'd be for a few months, and here I am 35 years later.
What was the transition from Gascoigne Peas to Curchods?
You came and knocked on my door.
Did I?
You did. I was doing.
I remember.
I was doing far too much business up here for your liking, and you probably thought, yeah, we could do with some of that.
Yeah, absolutely right.
And it was a great time for me to jump ship, and I haven't looked back ever since. And you know, as soon as I arrived at Curchods, you got right behind me in terms of the marketing myself up here, and that's definitely played a major role in the ongoing success. So I think the combination of what I already had before and with what we've created has just been a fantastic marriage. And yeah, you know, I've now sold well over 300 houses up here. You know, there isn't really
a record.
I know the history of pretty much every house, and there's not many owners I don't know. I might not know them personally, and I might not have met them personally, but I'll know of them and who they are.
Yeah.
I guess that 300 is having sold many of the same houses several times.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. I've sold houses on multiple occasions.
So if somebody called you tomorrow and said that they had a £10 million budget, they wanted a south backing acre plot with a view over the golf course, you would know the person to call to see if you could get access into that house.
Yeah, you know, obviously we all have houses on the main portals, as you know, but a lot of the business that I've done over the years successfully has been off-market sales, you know, bringing people together, approaching people who I know, and you know, someone once said to me, everything is potentially for sale on St George's Hill at the right price.
Yeah.
So what would you say the percentage over the years, the percentage of your discrete marketing sales would be of the total? Quite high?
I would say roughly 30%.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Really high.
Yeah. But it's a nice balance. But you know, there's some people who prefer the more private, discreet approach, and others who.
Obviously, your reputation precedes you there in that those clients who require discreet marketing, they absolutely trust that that's what they'll get from you.
Very much so. It's all about trust up here, and you know, luckily I've got a very good working relationship with the vast majority of my clients, and it's the best way to work. And you know, there needs to be that relationship on both sides. You know,
is there one standout transaction, standout house or event that would sit at the top of your pile of the most exciting, the most amazing that you've done on the hill?
I think the first house I ever sold up here for £1 million was very exciting.
Yeah.
And that was a property called Larchfield in Granville Road in 1991, and you know, that was a big deal, and sadly that's one of the ones which has been bowled over now.
Yeah.
I resold it as a plot about 10 years ago for £4.5 million.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
And now there's a mega mansion on there. But probably one of the exciting deals was the one we did for Octagon, again in Granville Road, that went for just under 14 million. That was a pretty exciting deal, because that was a groundbreaking price at the time.
And how big a house are you getting for £14 million?
That one was about 15,000 square feet on 2 acres, indoor pool, outdoor pool, tennis court. Yeah.
Have you sold a house to a first-time buyer on St George's Hill?
Well, yeah, interestingly, Dan, I was once called by a client of mine up here who said, "You need to get yourself up here quick. There's someone I want you to meet." And when I got up there, it was a very well-known young Formula One racing driver.
Okay.
And that young man bought a property. We went out viewed 6 houses. He chose one. From that viewing to him moving in was 5 days.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's Grand Prix stuff, that is.
Yeah, I think it's a unique environment. There's no other place quite like it in terms of an area of 430 odd houses within a secure estate, which is so beautiful, which has its own golf course as the backdrop. But it's not just about that. The plots are beautifully spaced out.
Yeah.
You have to have a minimum of an acre here to stop people selling off their gardens and developing their plots.
Yeah.
But also this place here, St George's Hill Tennis Club, I mean, this is the social hub of St George's Hill.
This is where it happens. Then,
And,
And would you find most residents here at some stage throughout the year?
I wouldn't say most, but a hardcore, and they have residents' association meetings here.
Yeah.
But this has been an invaluable place for me. It's very well run, and not only have I used it on a personal level to use the gym, the tennis courts, but just for client meetings, lunches. It's been fantastic, and of course, having worked up here now for 33 years, I've got to know so many clients at a personal level, and my daughters have even been bridesmaids at certain clients' weddings.
Really?
Yeah. So
Fantastic.
it's been a super place to meet people, and I've certainly taken business away from here for sure. I would have loved to have lived up here during the 60s and 70s when you did have some very colourful characters.
Yeah.
John Lennon had a house up here. Ringo
You sold his house, didn't you?
Yes, indeed, a couple of times. Ringo started, and yeah, that was one of the, you talk about exciting houses. John Lennon's house, Kenwood, when I took that on in the 90s, I was really starstruck.
I bet. One of the most famous men in the world.
But that was exciting, and John Lennon's old house, there was a draw gate on it that still had graffiti from the fans who used to make their way up here in the 60s and write messages.
Yeah.
Wow.
And also when I sold it in the 90s, the swimming pool that he put in was still there, and it had psychedelic floor on the pool. But Tom Jones was up here at one stage, and his manager had a massive house across this lake that used to be called Little Rhondda, and it was in 5 acres, and it's since been demolished. And one of the big developers, Octagon, put 3 big houses up there. But when Tom Jones' manager lived there, I think his name was Gordon Mills, he had his own private zoo.
Oh, I remember that.
A private
Yes.
zoo?
Yeah.
And when you were at the tennis club, this is long before I was coming here, in the 70s, you could hear like Bengal tigers. No, seriously.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
That is awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, we certainly hope that you will be with us for another 30 years and continue your very good work up here in St George's Hill.
Well, as I say, it's been a privilege working up here and working for you guys, and it's great fun, and long may it continue, as you say.